We discuss why AMC is the largest broker, when margin calls will occur, and many other topics in today's video. Let's look at this first in this video. Among movie theater chains, particularly in North America, AMC theaters have the most IMAX screens. AMC has the most IMAX screens in North America, according to a 2025 Hollywood Reporter story. In the US, Rio has over 100, but others, including Ciniche, have fewer. Thus, we have already discussed AMC's magnitude. We recognize that they are the largest. Furthermore, even though we frequently discuss the box office's success, we stand to gain the most from it. I wanted to bring this up because, on top of everything AMC is doing to invest in more premium screens and try to open more locations while lowering operating costs, we also need to understand how these things relate to the box office. As you can see, Zootopia 2 is on track to become the biggest Hollywood animated film ever with a global box office total of $1.8 billion. Let's discuss the two links collectively. First off, AMC is the largest, as we've already stated. Therefore, when we see news reports like this one discussing how well a movie is doing, whether it's in North America, the US, or other countries, you have to realize that AMC is the one who is gaining the most from all of these things. The collaboration between AMC and Netflix has already been discussed. We've seen the results of that. We discussed the EBITDA. We discussed record attendance. And when you look at AMC, you can see how well they're doing. If they can continue to grow at this rate and with this size, it will only be a matter of time until the profitability of AMC soars. And by then, everyone will see the opportunity there. When we talk about opportunity, we've already seen how institutions have stepped in because they took into account everything we just discussed. This is the reason why institutional ownership of AMC is increasing every quarter and why short sellers, or those who were previously bearish about AMC, are now flipping long on the company. Additionally, you can see that they are permitting institutions to purchase AMC. They are attempting to stop retail from actually holding more AMC, but they are failing to do so. As you can see, transfers of AMC stock from another brokerage account are not permitted by Fidelity. I've been attempting to add AMC stock from Charles Schwab to Fidelity for a few days, but every time I do, I get the temporary error warning. It looks suspicious. This might be an issue for both sides. First, we have seen that when it comes to these brokers, AMC and GME are consistently the stocks that experience issues. And it's not surprising that it is doing so when you consider how these brokers have benefited banks in the past. We've already discussed the shortage of AMC shares. We discussed how difficult it is to locate genuine AMC shares, which is why the shares we are currently looking at are on the market. The billions of synthetics that have been produced are what allow institutions to purchase. Therefore, in this instance, the fact that they are preventing transfers from Charles Schwab to Fidelity may indicate that the synthetic shares at Schwab that you are aware people own are sympathetic shares, which is why they cannot be transferred. After all, how can you move shares that don't exist from one broker to another? Therefore, this is something we might be examining at the moment. Additionally, Fidelity may not have the actual shares. They lack the data to support it. They cannot afford to further skew their numbers. We have observed how these brokers and institutions have attempted to present their book in a more favorable light than it actually is. We have previously discussed MMTLP. We are aware of the circumstances surrounding each of these fictitious shares. Therefore, the fact that they are preventing the transfer of assets, particularly MC shares, despite being aware that MC shares have liquidity problems, raises serious questions about whether either of these companies is holding on to synthetic shares while hiding the truth and the true number of shares. When you consider that 7 out of 10 trades avoid the open market, 30 million AMC shares were moved, 21.7 million were rooted off the exchange, and 724, or 4% of the price, went nowhere. That provides me with all the information I require. Therefore, we examine the quantity of shares that are being exchanged. Additionally, 29.8 million are visible, and we have stated this. It's not always necessary to concentrate on the percent. Now, in this instance, 72% or 62% is crucial because it helps us understand how much suppression is actually occurring. However, one of the most important things we always need to pay attention to is the volume itself. And in this instance, 29 million shares were traded. 30 million shares were traded, and 21.7 million shares were in the off-exchange, meaning that 7 out of 10 shares are not being traded onto the exchange and are not having an impact. Since anyone who understands this is aware of the significant impact this will have on AMC and the price, we have stated that these brokers, institutions, and market makers are currently doing everything in their power to keep retail from obtaining any shares of AMC, and to remove any incentives for them to do so. Because, returning to what we said earlier, the very act of making it difficult to transfer shares is actually an attempt to incentivize people to refrain from trading or purchasing AMC. Additionally, they are taking this action because they want institutions to purchase AMC stock, because they have previously witnessed how long we are willing to hold and how much harm we have already caused them. They do not want retail to own shares of AMC. We have discussed the number of shares, the total number of return swabs, and the amount of money invested in this. We are already witnessing that we are causing the current ELE liquidity problem in the market as a result of the apes. The trillion-dollar markets are being made public. These businesses are still having financial difficulties even after receiving hundreds of billions of dollars. They are attempting to stop the retail from purchasing AMC because of this. I'd like to discuss another news piece concerning people's opinions about AMC and, of course, the high-profit investments made by HYMC. It's crucial to take note of the entire situation. Did AMC lose investors a significant profit on its high exit, or did it miss out on the motherlode? This is just another paid financial news article that tells lies to make you think that AMC lost money on its high-growth investment because it was desperate. HYROOFT is doing incredibly well, along with the rest of the silver and gold market. So I want to talk about this because we've obviously looked at it before. However, many people are claiming that this was a bad move by AMC, that it was a terrible move that actually hurt investors, since they stated at the outset that AMC shouldn't have purchased this. The simple fact that we are now reading headlines like this should tell you about these news stories. They are now discussing how AMC made a mistake in this. Thus, it is evident that these narratives are always employed for personal gain. But when it comes to this, we will be brutally honest. First of all, we must acknowledge that AMC might have retained some of its shares, and keep in mind that they did not sell them altogether. Only a portion of it was sold by them. However, AMC would have gained more money if they had hung on to their shares for a few more days or weeks instead of selling them. That is entirely accurate. We must acknowledge, though, that AMC is still holding on to these IMC warrants that they can exercise, which means they continue to profit as hyper rises. Simply put, they are not making as much money as they could have in the beginning. As you can see, we are currently examining the initial investment hike of 27.9 million. AMC currently has 51 million in open vacancies. Thus, their present stake in Highcraft is as follows. Thus, they continue to generate a profit. Highcraft shares are still in their possession. Simply said, if they had kept it, they could have clearly made more. Now, does this imply that AMC's demise was imminent? Not, of course. Because we must acknowledge that initially, many discussed how this was a poor investment. You should already know a lot from the fact that AMC is still able to do this and turn a profit. Indeed, it was at a time when the silver market was flourishing. When this decision was initially taken, I discussed how the timing was off and that we need to have waited a little longer. But that doesn't affect the fact that AMC is still profitable. Additionally, it's important to recognize how the silver market also affects banks. Therefore, AMC will be doing well as silver and gold prices rise. We shouldn't be concerned about AMC. The short sellers, however, will not be in a favorable position. First off, there have been a number of silver margin increases, and they did have a short-term impact. However, silver keeps rising even though there aren't many margin increases. We'll see margin calls eventually. What impact will that have on short positions in other tickers, such as AMC? Therefore, some of the individuals we knew who were impacted were businesses like Bank of America and UBS. This is significant because both businesses are associated with AMC shorts. It's clear from looking at UBS that they have hazardous swaps of AMC. As a result, UBS would be in a very terrible position, and these toxic swaps would become even more volatile. If they were to receive a margin known as B silver, now Bank of America will see a possible force of recall of shares if they receive a margin call because they are Citadel's primary lender and premier broker.